Okay, we are going to get started. It is 12:30. Welcome everyone and good afternoon. I hope you are staying cozy. If you are in Texas, it is a little bit chilly, but I hope you are staying safe and cozy. Welcome to these Using Canvas to Teach remote courses. This is going to be a training that is brought to you by the Office for Academic Innovation. My name is Diana Benavides, and with me is
Mahendra Rock.
Yeah. Okay, just a broad overview. This training session will cover how to modify and organize your template to enhance those remote courses for the spring semester. Couple of housekeeping items that we have in the line for today is you are joining this via Zoom. Make sure you use the chat functionality to put your comments and your questions in there, and we will try to address those towards the end. And if we have some time available at the end, you may be able to unmute yourself and ask your questions. And you can also join us in our virtual office hours. We are always happy to address any concerns and questions and any requests that you have about ideas during that time. And you can always check this, come and bring your concerns. We are available Monday through Friday in the mornings and afternoons. Also, a friendly reminder that all our items live in lms.tamu.edu. Find on that website all of the materials, videos, and documentation that are going to help faculty migrate from Blackboard to Canvas LMS, engage with Zoom, and train up with all of the different training topics that we keep lining up weekly. So Mahendra is showing us here the weekly schedule, and as you can see, we have been covering how to modify and customize that module template to fit different modalities that are going to be offered in the spring quarter, as well as our office hours schedule. At the bottom of this page, you can see that we have reorganized our video library. So we are hoping that this makes it so much easier and so much seamless for you to find what you are looking for. So make sure you keep an eye out on this website. We change it weekly for our weekly training sessions. Our training outcome for the day, for today's training, is we're hoping that our participants will be able to identify best practices for organizing and labeling that Canvas module to support and enhance the student learning experience in the remote course modality. So from here on, we're going to start navigating to our course, our practice course in Canvas. And we are going to start talking about the different things that will come in your module that in your course template when you see it in the spring. Hopefully, it will be available for you to check it out before the spring. So your new course template is it has gone through some series of updates and modifications. And this is one of the new updates. You might notice that there's going to be a difference between the instructor module that you saw in the fall semester versus the one that you're going to see for the spring semester. So you can see that they have compiled that and made it into like a seamless module. The instructor module is to not be published because we don't want students to see it. This is for the instructor information. This is for the instructor to learn how they can modify and customize different things in here. So there is a template introduction. It's going to tell you an overview of what is available for you in this new course template. It's going to show you how to set your course navigation, how to review your course settings, and how to customize your course card in your dashboard. There's also going to be a page on how to customize and how to utilize those different buttons on the home page and those different icons that you will have available and different content dividers and footers. And then you will also have that link to the course card and to the buttons that you will see on the home page. You're also going to be able to see that there is this extra bonus that we're going to get on this new template. There's going to be a slideshow template, and there's going to be an infographic template. Feel free to use it, or if you already have your own, use your own. But this was just like a bonus that comes with that instructor module. This is another piece, and that is the support that is available for faculty. A link to our Office for Academic Innovation website, the lms.tamo.edu website is on there, the Keep Teaching page, as well as the AI help at tamo.edu email where faculty can find support as well. So that is what our instructor module covers. And just as a reminder, keep that one unpublished because it is only for the instructor information. When the instructor is working on their modules, once they're done with this instructor module, you can move it to the bottom or delete the module if you think you're not going to use it anymore. But something you can do is just drop it to the very, very bottom of your modules. The student experience resources, that one, we ask that you please keep that one published for the students because it is going to help. This is going to be a key element of your course, and it's going to provide the students with resources to be successful in your course and at the university. So you can see that we have added a page with the minimum syllabus requirements, and that's something that came from the Faculty Senate. So this is something that you won't need to modify. You might want to add things to it that maybe pertain specifically to your course, but you won't be required to change anything. There will also be a page on Canvas and academic resources for students. So you can see that we have here links to videos that are going to help students, like how do I take a quiz? How do I check my grades? How do I check the calendar? How do I add items to my personal calendar, right? How do I participate in a discussion? As well as the help desk central information, contact information where they can get help and ask some questions and find some support. And then some school resources at the bottom as well. This is a page that you won't need to modify. It is standard. You can leave it there. This is also more school resources. So you can see parking, open access labs, minimum computer requirements is in there. Help Desk Central is again linked in here. So these are very important resources that we recommend you keep them in your module and keep them published for the students. This online office hours page is for you to customize. So you're going to be teaching a remote course, and you might want to provide some kind of information on how you are going to handle those online office hours. So this is a template as you saw. There was placeholder text in there for you to customize it. Okay, so now we are going to cover something that we have added to our presentation. This will not come in your course template for the spring quarter, but this is something that as designers, as instructional designers, we think is essential, and that is your Start Here module. In your Start Here module, you want to add course information that are going to help the student orient themselves on those days preceding the semester. We usually see tickets at least 1 week or 2 weeks before a semester starts. And that's because the students are eager to get in your course and start finding out what book they need, what is the course about, who is my instructor, do I find a picture of my instructor? Is it a video of my instructor? Is it a welcome video? So this is the Start Here module that you can make available for the students on those days before the class starts, so students at least have an idea of what they should be expecting. So course overview, about your instructor, Make that about your instructor page personal. Make it about the instructor. Make it about you. Make it about, why are you excited to, teach this class, and talk about your personal hobbies, right? Present yourself as a human being. Just relate to the students. So that's really helpful. Course resources where you can let the students know what they're going to use, like which textbook, maybe some type of software that you're going to be expecting the students to use. A course question board is going to allow the students to put questions that they may have about your course, and invite the students to help answering those questions, right? It doesn't always have to be just the faculty that has to answer those questions, unless they have to do with maybe accommodations or something more personal, such as like a grade, right? We have also added an introduce yourself discussion board. Allow the students to get familiar with each other by having that introduce yourself discussion board. And then we have added these 2 extras. These are also suggestions that you might keep in mind. A syllabus review that allows you to make sure that the students go through like a knowledge check and an acknowledgement check that they cover the syllabus, that they understand the syllabus. Remember, the syllabus is like a contract. And then a semester feedback survey that can be deployed at different points of your course. Maybe at the 2nd or 3rd week of the course, you can deploy as a non-graded quiz, right? It's just maybe to gather feedback about how the students feel about the presentation of your modules, the presentation of your content. And then later on, maybe mid-semester, final semester, like it can be more about, again, another survey about how they feel about it, things in the course. Okay, and right here we have how the template is going to come when you see it for the spring semester. There's a weekly overview, weekly activities, and weekly review. Those are the main text headers. Those are like the main titles that provide structure to these module template. You can see that there is examples for content pages at the top for that weekly overview. There's also examples on individual assignments, a discussion, and a quiz. And there's also the one at the bottom with wrap up and looking ahead. So what we're going to do now is I am going to turn it over to Mahindra, and she's going to show us how you can utilize the different features that we have available in a module to make it fit a remote modality. So take it away, Mahindra.
Thank you, Deanna, and thank you everybody for joining us today. So let's start off by talking about what remote really means. And simply put, it's a remote course where all of the meetings are delivered remotely, right? You're not meeting at all in person, you're not on campus. So you might think, well, gosh, this is similar to a fully online web-based course. But there's a difference here because there are defined meeting times, right? There are a requirement for your students to be able to meet with you at specific times. And there's also asynchronous meeting times without a specific time, but just an opportunity for those asynchronous meetings. And also all of your exams will be delivered remotely. So there's no face-to-face option here. There's no flex where they can come to campus sometimes or come to labs. It's fully remote, and you are really mimicking the classroom environment, right? So while it's remote, it's different from online learning because you're trying to make students still feel welcome. They're learning through whatever medium they have, their computer or their laptop or their phone sometimes. And it means that they're logging in virtually through Zoom at scheduled times, whatever time that you've established for this particular course. So they're watching your lecture videos at those specific times, or perhaps they're participating in those group learning activities. And I would say, aside from the face-to-face on-campus modality, this one is probably the most familiar to us, right? Because we as a university, like all the other universities, were suddenly thrust into this crazy environment, right? Coronavirus pandemic happened and caused this rise in emergency learning. And so all of the universities basically shut their doors and forced students to go home and study remotely. And And we are going to continue to provide this option for students. We're allowing you to teach at a predetermined time, and we're inviting them to come and watch these lectures online rather than having them sit in the classroom. So this is going to be one of the choices for them. And the benefits are obvious, right? It's for safety concerns. It's healthier for them to kind of stay away and limit their time on campus, but also it allows them to be accountable. And that's different from a fully web-based course, because if they are required to be online with you in the Zoom session, then they're likely to not miss as much, right? Instead of being left to their own devices and finish their coursework whenever they have an opportunity to do so. But in this environment, and especially for students who need that structure, this is a benefit for them, having that specific period of time where they actually meet with you. So we're going to take a look at the module, and we're going to look at how we have suggested a structure for you. But before we do that, we want to think broadly more about the just overarching organization of the module, and for the course for that matter. And we like to keep in mind simplicity and consider that when you're structuring your content and your assignments and your assessments, think about your students, right? Think about how easy is it going to be for them to access, to be able to navigate your course and your module on a weekly basis? How can we better support their learning in a remote environment, or in a face-to-face environment? You could support their learning and extend it after that face-to-face time. So 3 things that we really would like for you to consider as you're thinking about modifying the templates that you'll receive for the spring, and that is communication, making sure you are communicating with your students, you are providing some empathy, you're thinking about the time in which we are living in right now, and the fact that they might be living with lots of roommates and they're trying to find time to do their schoolwork, and also thinking about simplicity, right? Making everything clear, concise, simple, and easy to navigate. So we're going to start with communication, and your course should really come with this introductory module. And Deanna and I we talked about this for a while, and we decided that we would create an example for you. So this introductory module is going to set the stage for your course, whether that's a face-to-face with supported resources, fully online, or in this case, remote. In that course overview page, which is the initial page in your module, here is where you are warmly welcoming your students to the course. You're letting them know what your expectations are. You're listing your overarching learning objectives for your subject, right? And you're listing your expectations. Here at the bottom, you'll see there's a grading scheme that has been put, so you could provide your grading scheme there. So really, it's an opportunity for you to describe even further what you would like your students to accomplish in your course, and the course overview page we really think is an opportunity for you to do that. Let me go back to my modules. And oh, by the way, they can always hop back in here whenever they want and relook at the overarching objectives, or maybe look at links to lecture materials that you might have linked here. The next thing, and Deanna talked about this, was your introduction as the instructor. Humanize this, make yourself readily available, record a video and welcome your students, provide more resources here for them, communicate as much as you possibly can, offer opportunities for students to pose questions to you on that discussion board throughout the course, and allow them to introduce themselves. Perhaps you want to start off with a discussion that inquires, what type of computer that they have, or do they have a set of headphones, basic things. And then also offering opportunities to have them read over your syllabus. You could pose questions about the most important items in your syllabus, and these things are ungraded, of course, or you could take a grade if you'd like to, and then asking them for their feedback. And I think student feedback is super important regardless of the modality. Another important communication piece are the announcements up here. And in the announcements, you can pin your announcements. Again, you can welcome your students here. You can post if your Zoom session has changed. Perhaps you have a regular scheduled Zoom lecture session, and there's a day where you're not going to be able to attend at that time. You could post that announcement here as well. And then another area of communication is the inbox. The inbox is kind of like an internal email within Canvas, and here you can communicate with all of your students, or with a specific group of students, or with an individual student. Perhaps you're missing some assignment work from them, and you can send them a quick little email there. So the other thing that we want to think about is we want to think about empathy, and we've already alluded to the fact that we're in these kind of crazy times. And when we think about having empathy for our students, we think about providing them with all kinds of supports, but also provide them with an opportunity to be social, to collaborate with their classmates. And we can do so in this module by offering them opportunities to have discussions with each other. So you can post individual assignment here, and you might offer them to do this before coming to class. Perhaps you get the juices flowing and thinking about a topic that you're getting ready to talk about. You're getting them to wonder about what might happen before class, before your lecture. So you could provide them with an opportunity for a group discussion, certainly within an individual group or an individual discussion. You can also provide opportunities for collaboration. So when you have your scheduled lecture meetings, you could then have breakout rooms where students could work in groups together and collaborate there. All right, let's talk about simplicity. So there's the structural simplicity. So if you look at this particular module, this remote module, we have the bold-faced headers, right? There's a weekly overview, there's weekly activities, there's to do before class, before coming to that scheduled meeting, and there's to do in class, and then there's that weekly review. But notice that within these headers, we have indented the assignments, like their to-dos, right? So it's visually easy for students to understand what it is that they're supposed to do for this particular module. And the icons too. These are universal icons. This is a page where typically content is listed. You might embed an image or some videos here for students to review. The icon with the pencil means that they have to do something. It's an assignment, an individual assignment. And then the little icon with the talking bubbles, that's a group discussion, and informs them that they are about to have a discussion. And then the rocket ship is always for a quiz. So here we've structured it in a way where we've indented it so that they know that it's different from a header. And these headers, you click on them and they don't move, right? And if you wanted to add a header, I'll show you how easily you can do that. If you click in the plus in the top right-hand corner, you will see a default to assignments. But if you just wanted to add another topic or another section to your module, you could say lecture content. And here's where you're able to either indent or not indent. Okay, I've seen some faculty members where they might indent all of their assignments by 1, their discussions by 2, and then their quizzes by 3, but it certainly is up to you. But because this is a text header, I'm just going to say not indent. Anything that you add to your module will always come in at the bottom, but when you grab this side, you are free to move that wherever you feel like it makes sense within your module, okay? And then another way to think about it simply, when I had to wrap my brain around what Canvas is and what a module is, I thought about a sandwich, right? You've got your top part of your sandwich, the bread, and the bottom. And the top part is that overview page where you are listing your objectives for the week or for the content that you're covering. And within that overview page, and I'll show it to you, you could have a to-do list. You could have a reading for the week. So you're introducing the students to the objectives for the week or for the content that's being covered in that particular module. Similar to that Start Here Now, Welcome Start Here Now module where you're introducing them to the course. Here, the top part of your sandwich is you're introducing them to the content for the week or for the unit. At the end, like we've got their meat in the middle, right? And lettuce, tomato, and all that good stuff. At the end, we're summarizing what we've wanted to accomplish over the week. We're summarizing our objectives. We might have a summary of assignments, and we might have an opportunity for students to give us some feedback. How are they feeling? Are they confused and lost? And maybe you propose them with a discussion that they can have with their colleagues, or give them feedback or allow them to give you feedback. How can you improve their experience within this course, especially since it's fully remote? Another idea to add in here is to offer opportunities to remediate, right? So we have to consider You can't read your students if they have their camera off. In a face-to-face classroom, you can read the room, and you're very good at that, right? You can see if kids are lost, you quickly on the fly change it in a way that they understand. But in a remote course, you have to assume that they are lost. And so we have to provide supports for them. So provide them with opportunities to remediate and to reflect, and then also to extend their learning if they'd like to extend their learning. One other thing that I wanted to share with you is their view, the student view. If you go to that home page, as you're building your module, we frequently suggest that you go back to this home page and you click on student view. This will show you their course navigation, which is very simple. There's only a handful of items for them to be able to click on, so making that navigation as simple as possible. Going to that modular view, you see they've got their student experiences resources. They have that Start Here module, and then they have the remote. And this is a great way for you to be able to tell whether or not it's visually appealing and it's easily navigable for those students. So we always recommend that you try going to the student view. And I'm going to leave my student view, and we only have a few more minutes left, and I want to leave it for some questions. Deanna, do we have any questions in the chat? And I'll stop my recording.
To learn more, please visit lms.tamu.edu or email us at aihelp@tamu.edu. Thank you.